So just a quick recap from the haircutting part 1 video. We already did the perimeter, so now we are doing the interior layers. I'm taking a vertical parting on the right side and another vertical parting on the left side, and I will be creating a center profile section. It's about 1 inch thick, no wider than my comb. And then I will use a guide from the nape, the very first section we cut with the perimeter, and I will cut a length to follow that guide, and then I'll just cross-check my lengths. And then I continue on with the entire profile section using my comb to show me how to achieve my 90-degree elevation. And as I cut from the crown down to the nape. Whenever I cut, I leave the top section that I cut and then take the bottom with me, and then just redistribute as you need, not cutting past your second knuckle. And when I get into this area right at the occipital and slightly below the occipital, I change my hand position. It allows me to get a proper 90-degree elevation towards the bottom half of the head. And I also move the mannequin heads down slightly so I can maintain that 90-degree elevation. And just move your mannequin head as you need. At this point, I will now split that original profile section back in half with the profile part. So I put some of the left side back together. Then I'm going to be working this right section first. So I will take another vertical section, something that looks parallel to the original profile section. So I will start again at the crown and then just work my way down. And so now I have a guide right in front of me, which was the original profile section. Still maintain 90-degree elevation. And you want to be perpendicular, which is on base of your new vertical section that you're cutting. So again, right here, just changing my hand position so I can get my elevation. And then none of the original perimeter should reach because we use that as our guide to length. So it really shouldn't reach. Everything should hopefully be matching up. And now I'm just taking a traveling guide. So I split the second vertical section, I split that in half. And I am taking some of that with me to this new vertical section. So traveling to the new vertical section. And then you're just cutting to follow your guide, staying consistent with your elevation. And again, you are perpendicular, you are on base to this new vertical section. So throughout the cut, you'll see me holding some hair. Even though I might be holding a lot of hair, I'm not cutting past my second knuckle. So the 90-degree elevation should shift slightly about every inch. So you shouldn't really be cutting more than that in one given time. With this new section, I just took another vertical section. I split the previous section in half, traveled with that guide, still staying consistent. As I work down, I just lift the previously cut hair, drape it over the top of the head, and just work my way down. So again, I just split in half what I just cut. Take some with me to my new vertical section. Maintain 90-degree elevation from that section, as well as your perpendicular distribution from that section. This last tiny section right at the ear, you shouldn't have too much hair to cut. Again, you're not recutting any of the perimeter, just kind of matching everything up. None of that bottom perimeter reaches, and for that hair, we are elevating up a little bit higher when you get lower towards that vertical hairline, just to maintain our perimeter so we don't create any holes in our perimeter. Now I am going back through the right side, everything I just cut, taking a horizontal section to cross check. And if everything went according to plan, you should see a nice rounded line. And you'd want to hold that out to 90 degrees. So now I'm going back over to the left side. I put in a profile part, and now I am using a guide from the original profile section, and I am following that. Again, working from the crown down to the nape, changing the hand position once I get towards the occipital. At this point, let's pretend your examiner asked you to demonstrate how to use the razor. So I am still taking my traveling guide. This new vertical section I will be cutting with my razor. So I palmed my razor as I am combing through the hair and creating a new section. With the razor, I want to maintain 90-degree elevation, so I am lifting the mannequin's head up so I can get proper elevation. With the razor, you can use light etching movements or light gliding movements with your tool, and then just work all the way down. They might ask you to do one whole section. They might ask you to do one little strand. Just follow their lead on that. And then here I am demonstrating how to use a razor and remove bulk. So I am just twisting a strand of hair, and then I'm going to lightly etch into this section. I'm not using a lot of pressure, very light pressure. And then comb the hair out. So now for this technique, I am using my razor, just the tip of my razor, to cut into, notch into some of this hair strand. I'm still not using a lot of pressure. I'm just lightly pushing into that section of hair. For this next demonstration, I am going to switch to my texturizing shears or thinning shears, the ones with the serrated blade with the teeth. I'm just combing a little section of hair and then cutting into the strand a couple times. That's one way you can do that. You can also do twist cutting with your texturizing shears. So you can also twist a strand of hair and then just cut into that. So those are all ways you can demonstrate how to remove bulk. You only need to choose one way. You don't have to do all three. So whatever's easiest for you or what you've trained in, that's up to you. So at this point, I switch back to my regular shears and I am continuing with my cut. So after every vertical section, split it in half, take a little bit with you to the new vertical section. And your size, the size of your subsections really shouldn't be too much wider than your comb. So I have my guide right in front of me, and I'm just working from the crown down to the nape. Redistribute your 90-degree elevation as you work. So for this last little vertical section behind the ear, you shouldn't have too much hair to cut. And remember, the lower part of this vertical section, we start elevating slightly higher than 90 just to maintain our perimeter. And then in the back, I am taking horizontal sections and cross-checking to make sure I see a nice rounded line. In the event you see something off, you can go back and try to correct it. You can also feel the links for balance. So with this first vertical section in the front, I'm using the last vertical section I just cut as a guide. Again, I want to be 90 degrees from the top of the head. Once I get into the parietal area, where the head starts to round out on the side, I'm going to start over directing my elevation up. So everything below the parietal ridge is being elevated up slightly higher than 90 degrees. Again, that is to maintain my perimeter. And I'm taking a traveling guide, and I'm going to stay consistent with 90 degrees from above the parietal. Everything below the parietal is over directed up. So you just keep taking traveling vertical sections using a guide from each previous section. And then that front hairline, since it was part of the perimeter, you really shouldn't have much, if any, hair to cut. And then you repeat the same thing on the opposite side. So now that I completed both sides, I'm taking a horizontal section across the top, and I am making sure I see a nice rounded line. You can also feel for balance, and then you want to step back to indicate that you're done. So before I sweep up, I just shake the hair out, get any excess hair off of the mannequin head, then I pack up all of my dirty stuff, clips and combs that I used. I put my shears in here as well. You can put them back in your case and put your case in the dirty bin. And then use your mini broom and dustpan to sweep up hair, throw it in your trash. Sanitize your hands. Then I'm gonna put the mini broom and dustpan back in its Ziploc. I'm gonna put that into my luggage, and I'm also going to pull out my blow dryer and blow dry bag because that is my next service. Here's the head sheet for the haircut I just did. Hopefully y'all liked and enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Take it easy.